Hello there. Good morning and good evening. Whichever place you are, whichever part of the world you are living now, we greet you. We welcome you to this sessions that we had been talking for the last couple of sessions. We had been dealing with very important topics, and this is our third session. And we are dealing with a series which is very much needed for any mankind, regardless of your age, but predominantly we are targeting teenagers, especially who are in desperate need of these kind of answers to the questions what arises in their heart, because it's an age where the stages are going to be changing at regular intervals. This is what we keep talking in every session, that you need to be really watchful and mindful about your thought process, about the decisions that you make, how you judge things. And these are the sessions which are going to help you to lay down strong principles that will help you to get or lead yourself in the right directions. All right. Now, in this session, we are going to talk about a very, very interesting topic. How well do you know yourself? That's a question. How well do you know who you are, or how much you know of yourself, right? Various ways of asking the same question, but the meaning is just the same. Do you know who you are? Have you ever identified what you want in life, what you like, what are your likes, dislikes, what are your weaknesses and strengths, and are you moving in the right direction? Do you have right companions? Have you identified yourself in the right place? Or have you identified yourself and positioned in the right doctrines, right belief system? How is your value system? What is your priority in life? So many questions. We're going to discuss about that. I'm really sorry that I had to tell you upfront about the questions that are pipeline to come. We will try to answer few of them, but not before we have our usual short story. Okay. Um, how many of us like story? I think I like a lot to listen to stories, but unfortunately, nobody tells stories. I end up telling stories to others, but it's okay. You're you're lucky to have me. So let's talk about a very interesting story. Rather, a very nice story. We can learn something from there. Once upon a time in a jungle, what happened was, so moment I talk about the story, I start getting to cough. In a jungle, what happened was a mother horse and father horse. They gave birth to a baby boy horse, right? I'm talking in a kind of a kids language or a kindergarten language. So stories can be explained like that only. Unfortunately, there happened a fire accident in the jungle. We know, right? In Australia, generally we keep all this kind of wild fire or forest fire. In the forest fire, both father horse and mother horse got deeply injured, and they were about to die. They were in the last pangs of their death, and somehow they made their efforts to safeguard this baby horse, ensuring that no harm came upon that baby horse. And they left it in a place where there were a bunch of tortoises living, right? And the tortoises said that, hey, we had that hard skull and we protected ourselves, no harm came, and especially we sunk in the water. Therefore, we're very glad that you fought for your life and saved your son. And in their dying moments, they died happily, handing over their baby horse into the hands of the tortoises. Now, this baby horse started growing along with the father tortoise, mother tortoise, cousin tortoise, friend tortoise, everything. So what happened is this horse doesn't know the real values of the real horse, right? The horse doesn't know who he is. This, let's call the name of the horse is, you know, what horse Rocky, right? The Rocky doesn't know about his own values, how fast he can run, and how he's also, courageous enough to face the battle. He's not scared of, elephants in the battlefield, etc., etc. There is a big history about horses. He doesn't know anything about him. He was born and brought up by the in the midst of the tortoises. So what happened is he started learning things from the tortoises. Therefore, he started walking in the same slow pace like how the tortoises used to walk. And he started, resting like the tortoise. He doesn't go for a walk. He doesn't go for a run. He doesn't go for a ride and all that. Again, this forest fire, one day it came. All these tortoises, no, they went into the water, and they were asking him also to come. But this real nature of the horse triggers something in him. Hey, if you jump into the water, you can swim, but you cannot swim for too long. Therefore, why don't you run away? Something tells inside of him. The real nature triggers and comes out of him. And the horse, this rocky fellow is telling, hey, I don't know how to run. He's telling to himself all these perplexions, confusions, but he makes efforts to slowly walk, then walk a little faster, then he runs, then he gallops. My God, he's so surprised. Is there so much of strength in me that I'm able to run faster than the fire? That's when, that's the day, in the midst of the struggles, in the midst of the hardships, in the midst of the troubling moment. Yeah, his heart was so sorrowful that he's away from his whole tortoise family. There is no way he can get back because the whole place is burnt. And yet, in the midst of that hardship, the new age begins, the new life begins, new journey begins for him. Most importantly, he discovered the truth, the real who he is all about. What is the moral of the story? I think I already told, right? In the midst of the struggles is when your real quality comes up. The real essence is brought out. Therefore, never be tired, never be fatigued of facing hardships and troubles in your life. Each time a troublesome moment knocks your door, right? You need to tell yourself one thing, a new thing I'm going to learn in life, a new character of mine I'm going to discover, a new habit of mine, a new strength of mine is going to come out to fight this battle in style, just like Rocky fought that battle, right? Not even knowing who he was, but the real nature will come out, right? You're all of us are very talented. Only thing we have not discovered who we are, right? The same brains as you and I have, Einstein had, Newton had, right? Aristotle had, all of the scientists they had. They just used their brains and they knew and discovered what their strengths were, what their passion was, where their interest is lying, and they used and that they sailed in the right direction, and they were able to get the best out of that belief, right? We need to revisit our value system, belief system, but especially during the time of the troubles, do not get dismayed or discouraged, right? You need to really move ahead, just like how Rocky decides to first walk and then walk faster and then run slowly and then run faster. Then he was galloping, galloping, galloping. And that's when he discovered, oh, there is so much of energy in me. This is the real who I am. Who knows? You will also discover. Okay. I hope you all like the story. Now we're going to talk about 6 or 7 tips each time we do the sessions in this pattern, right? We set the context, then we portray a little story, we narrate it in a way that you can understand, and then we extract the moral of the story, and then we step into the tips, what can help you to overcome these kind of struggles and battles in life, right? 7 ways which helps to discover who you are. And this is the most these are the most what I say, these are the principles which are missed the most by almost all the mankind. Why? Because we are living in such a busy and complicated world, we do not get time for all of these things. So that's where we are helping you. All right, get to know your personality. That's the first tip. Your personality, there can't be a better judge than you, right? You know your own strengths, right? You know who you are. You may be a very sensitive person, or you just cannot be a very humorous person. It's okay. Not being humorous is not a sin. You don't know how to laugh. Yeah, I don't know how to laugh. God created me that way, but I know how to think better than you, right? There are strengths where you definitely are better than others, right? And there is no need to compare. It's as much as you have understood who you are and you have accepted who you are. That's it. You don't have to compare. If the other person is funny and cracking jokes and he's a stand-up comedian, doesn't mean that you also should be a stand-up comedian, isn't it? So you need to know and discover your personality, who you are, right? um, and that's a good definition for yourself to help you move ahead in your life, right? Secondly, get to know your core values, which means simply what are your interests in life? What are your ambitions in life? What are your long term ambitions? What are your short term ambitions? What is your interest that will attract you the most, that will excite you the most? Right? There may be 10 interests, but you need to write down and then you need to prioritize whichever comes top one, two, three. Those are the things which excites you the most. So you should definitely stick to those core values and start working towards that, and that will only help you to discover the real talents that has been submerged within you all these years, all these days, and this is the best chance for you to bring them out. How? By writing down, nailing down the core values. Thirdly, get to know your body, the physical system, the anatomy, physical anatomy. Of course, the same number of veins and nerves and cells, blood vessels, we all have, right? One brain only we all have. I don't have two brains, or you don't have five brains, right? Human anatomy doesn't change, but then the way how the human anatomy works in correlation to your thought process, in correlation to your circumstances, what you go through, right? Your circumstances is not same as mine. Your bad moments are not same as mine. It is different from one another. But however, the way you have been predestined, or your thought process has been designed in such a way to handle it, just accept it and understand how your thought process work. Try to change. We have given other sessions how to deal with mind and thought processes. Please go through that. That will help you. But you don't have to change drastically. Sometimes you will have to accept who you are, but except for this worry and fear, anything else is okay. This worry and fear are not good for your mind. You need to really come out of it. We will do some sessions about that also, how to handle that, right? But except that, if you are slow to respond, it's not a crime, right? You may take enough time to respond, it's not a crime. Or you are quick to respond, it's okay, it's not a crime. Or you're quick to react, and you're someone who will react and think, it's not a crime. But sometimes you can learn from your mistakes. What your human anatomy tends to commit as a mistake, you can try to fix it, but you need to accept that's how real who you are. But you can try to change over a period of time. It doesn't have to be instantaneous, right? Fourthly, you need to have a journal. Told you already, you need to always have the habit of penning down things. So I have the habit of penning down things, not on the piece of paper, but here in my brain, here in my mind, right? The things that I like, things that I'm yet to explore. But I came across a very interesting experience from a person. I learned to, I tend to hear that experience. I also may want to try that. For example, I'm good at cycling, but I haven't been a motorist. I'm good at driving two-wheeler, but I haven't tried, driving a aircraft. I want to, have that experience of sitting next to a pilot. You can explore so many things in life, and through which you can build your interests and ambitions, is what we are trying to say. Therefore, you need to have a journal lining down things, and therefore you can start ticking one of them, and or all of them over a period of time. You will have that satisfaction, right? You will have that immense satisfaction that tells you there is nothing that you're lacking, there is nothing that you are unaware. You have tried out everything and you pick the best, which means you are so convincingly moving towards your futuristic course as part of your journey in life, right? The fifth point is identify your strengths and weaknesses. Very, very important point for all of us until your last breath, regardless of your age, right? It doesn't matter you're a teenager or you're in parenthood or whatever. You need to understand what you're good at and what you're not good at. You can always convert what you're not good at to fall on the other side what you're good at, but then don't make too much of effort. As I said, if your nature is like you're little sensitive, or you're quite a serious person, you're slow to respond, even in a million years you cannot change it. So don't make efforts to change it. Remain in your strengths, right? Stick to the values, stick to how your human anatomy is built and designed, right? We had been all created with unique eyes and unique the palm, the fingers, the fingerprints, right? We are unique. Therefore, so is our habits and nature and attitude and talents and skills are also, right? And therefore, we don't have to compare with one another, but stick to your strengths, but make efforts to convert your weakness to strength. It's not the other way around. Don't convert strengths to weaknesses. That's where people backslide and they get, from the best to worst. So you need to be careful about it, and always, line up those things. And when situations hit you, when troublesome moments hit you, you can work upon your strengths and try to tackle that. And don't ever count on your weaknesses, right? Use your strengths to tackle your weakness. That's how it is, right? Sixth one, have a life with vision and mission. Two important things. You are a visionary and you are on a mission to fulfill that vision. Simple, no? Am I confusing you? You are a visionary. You need to have a vision, long-term vision, short-term vision. Long-term vision for some people is to buy a BMW. Short-term vision is to build a house and live there, because they cannot live in BMW, right? So to buy a BMW, they may need to spend 1.5 crores Indian rupees. To buy a flat, they need just 40 lakhs, and they need to dwell in somewhere, and they need a parking place to park their BMW. I'm just giving a very crude example here, right? A very practical example. But then they are working towards that vision, and they are on a mission. You're a visionary, you need to create visions. I gave a very silly examples. Maybe you have better visions. I don't want to put words into your mouth. I don't want to implant my vision into your brains. That's why I just left with this very crazy example. You may have better visions for yourself, and you need to walk in that vision, and that's called as mission, right? And you need to make efforts, right? For you to buy a BMW, what you need to earn well, right? For that you need to study well. For that you need to work in a good job, and you need to upgrade your skills, and you need to build upon your talents and capabilities to earn well. Therefore your dream is met, and it's a long-term dream or a short-term dream, it doesn't matter. But for each of this you need to make efforts for sure. Okay, last seventh point. These are the steps how you can identify who you are. Question your thoughts all the time, right? When a thought strikes your mind which is against your vision or a mission, or to demotivate you, discourage you, or tell that this is not the real who you are, you're so bad, you're so weak, you're not talented at all, just question that thought, whether that's the right thought or not. 99 percentage of the times you will identify and you will discover all these thoughts which are creating negativity, right? They are useless thoughts. They would have come either due to comparison or peer pressure or competitions or yeah, impatience, and you want to achieve something very faster instantaneously, right? Yeah, lack of patience is what I could say, and or desperateness, or really really anxious, I want to see it tomorrow and all that. These are the behavioral patterns where you need to work upon, and these are the weaknesses you would have definitely listed down in their weaknesses. Had you not, please write it down. Now you need to convert that weakness to the strength, what we had already told you, right? And when you start working on those, your behavioral pattern changes, and therefore your thought process changes, and the way how you're marching towards your mission to fulfill your vision also changes, right? So this is what it is, and I hope you definitely have learned something. I want to ask few questions. In fact, I want to implant few questions, and when you start answering these questions, you will definitely identify who you are. I think these tips are good enough to identify who you are, more than enough. But still, you can replay this video and start answering these questions. Pen it down in a piece of paper. It's from a psychological perspective, it really helps, right? Some of them are the questions which I already have spoken, but then I'm going to read some top 20 questions. I made some notes. I did a lot of research. I made some notes, the top questions which really helps a person to identify the real who they are these questions. Okay, number one, I'm going to just ask the question. You start answering passively or silently in your head, or you can answer late also, no problem. Okay, what are my strengths? Question number one. Question number two, what are my short-term goals and long-term goals? Question number three, who matters most to me, and who are my people who supports me a lot? Number four, what am I ashamed of the most? Question number five, what do I like to do for fun? Question number six, what new activities am I interested or willing to try or explore in life? Question number seven, what am I worried about the most? Question number eight, what are my core values and do I believe in those? Question number nine, what are my top 10 wishes in life? Question number 10, where do I feel safest? Good question, no? Question number 11, what or who gives me the comfort in life? 12, what is my proudest accomplishment, or what will be my proudest accomplishment? You can talk from the futuristic perspective, right? Next question, what is my biggest failure? I'm just leaving the numbering part, right? I have some 10 more questions to ask and we will wind it soon, right? What do I like about my job and what do I dislike? Some people have major problem with job, right? And if they change the job, no, they will become all right. Many people, psychiatrists have witnessed this. They moved from one workplace or one profession to another profession, that fixed things automatically. So this is a very important question. What does my inner critics tell me? Next question. We make critics of our own self in our inner conscious. That's called as inferiority complex. What does it look like? Question number, I think 19. What do I do to show myself compassionate and self-caring? Next question. Am I an introvert or an extrovert? Introvert, you know, right? Introvert means they won't speak at all, everything inside. The one fine morning, they will burst like a pressure cooker. Extrovert, nothing can stop their mouth. Chatterbox, anything and everything, they will pour it out. That is also bad. This is also bad. You need to have a balance in between these two. I'm just explaining a bit. Last two questions. What am I passionate about? Passion matters a lot, right? What is my happiest memory? Last question. What is my dream all about? Okay. Now, these questions, definitely, there are more questions. I have at least 70 or 80 questions. I just shortlisted top 20 and I just presented it to you. You don't remember these? Rewind the tape and you can write all these questions. Try to find answers for all of these questions. Okay. So stay blessed, stay with a lot of hope, stay positive, and march ahead in your life. Nothing can stop me, is what you should keep telling to yourself. You need any help psychologically, spiritually, or whatever kind of help, please subscribe to our channel and listen to all the materials. We have spoken a lot from the Bible teachings and preachings and sermons are being given there. You're an unbeliever, you're not a Christian, do not worry. I'm still your friend, and that's why we started this motivational series to help all the mankind, because we love everyone. God loves all of us, and God is a universal thing that we can talk about, universal person whom we can talk about, right? So WhatsApp us if you need any help. 9902212152 is our number, and we are always there for your help. God bless you. Stay blessed, and always live in hope.